All right. Hey, everybody. How's it going? We got a very special guest on the show today. He's been on the show several times before. Mr. Joseph Michael, lead vocalist of the band Witherfall, and one of my favorite bands as a teenager, Sanctuary.
It's been a while. You've been up there for a bit.
Yeah, I've been home for about just a little over a year and a couple months, and it's been going smoothly. I gotta say, I'm enjoying being home, working from home. It's kind of nice.
But I mean, we're not here to talk about you.
No. Let's hear all about this. So yes, the show that was almost a complete disaster. Instead, we only got a partial disaster, mostly due to monitoring, wasn't it?
Yeah, monitoring, tequila, a ton of stuff. I mean, you say show, but it was a festival in Tijuana in front of 3,500 drunken metaleros. So,
right,
no pressure. Our first fucking show, my first show since before the pandemic in fucking September.
Just for clarity here. This is the band Witherfall's first show, not Sanctuary's first show. Yes, we're talking Witherfall because I already heard all this through Alex and Dave. But Joseph wants to tell us the story of how everything could possibly go wrong at a gig. Did
right. So originally, this was just supposed to be just a one-off show. We were supposed to play down in Tijuana. Like, we got to know the promoters when we were promoting our wine in San Diego. So this is the first Witherfall show in almost 2.5 years.
Right.
So, we're all not nervous, but a little agitated and excited. Everybody's doing their homework, even Alex. Right.
I heard he was the most prepared at this show. I'm like, wow, hell froze over.
Well, he was... Yeah, okay. They turned this one-off show, it's supposed to be a pub show at the Dragon Rock Bar in front of like a few hundred people. They're like, let's just build a festival around your show. Like, okay. So originally we were supposed to headline this thing, and then it just kept getting bigger and bigger. They got Chrisian, they got Nervosa. We ended up being like second headliners on the first night. And it turned into like, they took over to this mall next to a football stadium. And wow. It was set up like the Coliseum. So there's like people up in these rafters, like watching down. I mean, it was a spectacle. Insane. So the original drummer that we were supposed to have for the show, Bruno from Angra.
Yeah, Bruno Valverde, amazing drummer, awesome guy, just consummate professional drummer.
Yeah, he plays with us for some of our live shows. He could not leave the United States. He had some visa issues, which everyone's having because the fucking offices have been closed for like 2 fucking years. This was like 2 months ago. So he gave us ample time to find a replacement, in which we did. We hired this guy, Mike Mitchell, Black Dynamite. He was referred to us by Anthony actually last year when we were looking for someone to play on our record. And actually, I'm a fan of his drumming. We were looking at drummers before we decided on Marco Miniman for Curse of Autumn. This guy was one of the first guys we were going to. So we were kind of in a spot, being we haven't played in 2.5 years, and we needed a drummer, and we had 2 months in advance. So I got on the phone with this guy, and he takes the gig. We agree on pay. We agree on, 2 rehearsals prior to the show. He was going to work on the songs while he was out on the road, musician shit. You listen to stuff, you show up knowing the arrangements, and if you can play, you can play. So fast forward, and everything had been fine. Like, I'd been in communication with him, like, yeah, it's going to be great. I've always wanted to play with a crazy, like, metal band, blah, 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 blah. We show up to the first rehearsal about a week before the show, and the guy's sitting there with his headphones on, like with his eyes glazed over. I could tell right away he had never heard any of the songs before we even stepped into the rehearsal studio. So we get in there, and he didn't know even the arrangement of Portrait, which is probably the simplest song in the entire set. So that's like 4.5 minutes of just one meter shift, maybe a couple tempo shifts. I don't know how the fuck he was planning on handling vintage that has like 7 meter shifts within like 8 bars, which we didn't even get to that song. I think we spent the entire 5-hour first day just going over Portrait and a half of Moment of Silence. So we're obviously fucking freaking out. We booked 3 more rehearsals. So we had a rehearsal every day, and we had like 5-6 hours like booked.
So you had 5 days in a row rehearsing.
Just so we can get him through it. I'm like, this guy is a fucking beast of a drummer. Like, he'll be able to do it. Like, we'll get through it. Like, it's fine. So he ends up like, oh, I got a gig tonight. Oh, so you're not going to go home and work. He's like, I'll be fine. So we show up at the Baked Potato to his gig, and dude, he was so fucking stoned. He didn't even recognize Jake, who went up. He was like sitting right next to us. And like, we had just spent like 6 hours with him. And like, I'm looking at Jake. He's looking at me like we're in some John Belushi movie. Like, is this fucking real? Like, so he leaves without saying anything. And he was at the bar sitting right next to Jake and looked like right at him. Right. So we go outside and he's like, oh, hey, I'm like, I don't know. Was that like intentional? What the fuck was that? So I'm like, yeah, see you tomorrow. Show up tomorrow, the next day, and it's not there, man. Like, we got through, like, he didn't even learn the parts. He was just like trying to, fuckery his way through it. And I have his fucking notes, and like, if you read his notes, they weren't like charts, because he was sitting there like charting stuff out, but we couldn't see what he was writing. And I'm like, oh, good. He's going to chart it out. It's going to be fine. I don't care. Well, I bought him a music stand. I have a music stand from Sam Ash sitting here so that he could bring that to Mexico, right? That's how nice I am, right? So that next day, he still doesn't know the arrangements. Like, in fact, like the stuff that he had almost gotten down, like some of the double bass stuff, he forgot where it was. And we're like, oh my God, what the fuck are we going to do? It's like 3rd day in, and we're like, sat everyone down. I'm like, listen, like, you got like 4 songs that are halfway passable. We need an hour's worth of music. 4 songs in Witherfall is like more than halfway there to an hour. So we could still do this. And like Dave, our friend down in San Diego, who's also a pretty killer drummer, he's been listening to our stuff for quite a while, and he had claimed that he knew like 4 songs. So I'm like, I sat Mike down and I'm like, listen, man, like, I don't know what happened. Doesn't matter. We have a job to do. And you got 4 songs. We got 1 more rehearsal day. We're going to split it up, 5 hours with you, and get this stuff tight. And then we're going to drive down, or Dave's going to drive up from San Diego and spend 5 hours with us rehearsing the others. He looked me in the eye. He said, I'm okay with that. And I'm like, okay, so go home and listen to stuff. Oh, no, today's my birthday. I'm going to a party. Oh, there's only a festival. You're getting paid a handsome sum of money, probably more than we've ever paid anyone to play a show before. Like, so I'm like, okay, just show up prepared tomorrow. So I had to go pick up Alex in fucking Corona.
Alex Nasla, you guys know my partner there at Spectre Digital. He's been on the show numerous times. And I got to mention the friend Dave is Dave Velez, who's been on the show numerous times as well. Dave's an awesome dude. Lives down in San Diego. Really, really amazing guy. You guys, that's a good match for you guys, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Well, so I sent Jake and Anthony over to rehearsal to get started with the arrangements while I go get Nasla, because, if the fucking bass, guitar, and drums aren't working, the fucking vocals and keyboards, I surely don't fucking aren't gonna help. So Jake calls me up, and it's like 20 past, half hour past the start of rehearsal time. He's like, dude, where the fuck's Mike? And I'm like, I don't know. He should be there. And he's like, no, man, like the guy at Nightingale Studios over in Burbank. Awesome place, by the way. He's like, dude, your drummer came like an hour and a half ago and picked up his cymbals. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, yeah, and mind you, like, that's bad enough, but he didn't tell anyone. I texted him after I heard that, he totally, like, to use a millennial or whatever the fuck term, he ghosted us.
Okay, so this is now, correct me if I'm wrong. This is like what, the day before the gig or 2 days before the gig?
It was the day before we were supposed to go to Mexico.
Okay.
To cross the border.
Okay, so 2 days before the show. Okay, great.
Technically 2 days before the show.
And your drummer goes fucking AWOL and didn't tell anybody.
Didn't tell anybody and wasted all of our fucking time. And for 2 months, had the set list and should have been listening and didn't. And just thought maybe we were like, you know, like a simple metal band and just didn't fucking listen to the songs.
Now, let me get this right, though. This guy's a pro-level LA session musician, right?
In the fusion world. And
okay.
Yeah, so, like, I don't want to take away anything from fusion players, but, you know, there's some forms of music you can improvise over. Right. And classical music and progressive metal are not those fucking genres.
Sure.
Well, we never heard from him again. So we're like, we need to figure something out. We cannot cancel this show. It's our first show with the new booking agent. This festival was put on around us. Like, it's the first show in like 3 fucking years. Like, we've already been fucking paid. Like, you just can't. The show must fucking go on. Like,
absolutely. Yep.
We tell Dave, hey, you think you can learn like 3 more of the simpler songs? And we just go out there and fucking rock and roll it, you know? It's best Witherfall can rock and roll it. And he, you know, the guy's a confident motherfucker. I'll give him that, man. Like, he showed no fear. So he's like, yes, I don't want to waste any time coming there. So we got everything and we fucking just hauled ass down to San Diego and we rehearsed that night and the next day.
At Dave's place, right?
At Dave's place in headphones.
Yep.
In fucking headphones. And then again, when we crossed the border into Mexico, you know, they did like a drum circle type rehearsal with just, you know, a tiny amp and just sticks and pads to get the arrangements down, you know, where all the meter changes are and all that stuff. I don't know how many people that watch this are actually professional musicians or aspiring. I'm sure a lot are aspiring musicians, but, you know, we've been getting a lot of comments online like, why are you calling this guy out? It's like, you obviously don't know how much time, money, and preparation goes into, you know, these types of events. Like, it's not just, oh, they have to cancel the show and forfeit the guarantee, which is bad enough. I mean, a band at our level, and I'm not bragging, like, it actually hurts us, like, to be at this level.
Yeah,
like,
Witherfall's a signed band. You guys are on what label? Sorry.
Well, Century Media, Sony Japan, like, you name it. Like, we fucking,
you guys tour. You know, these guys are actual working musicians.
Right. Well, and everybody's paid. So, you know, like, all our guys are paid for the shows. Mm-hmm. So they've like, you know, like Anthony Crawford is not doing this gig because he's doing this gig, and we're gonna have to fucking pay him. And we would. I mean, we could act like pieces of shit and not, but no, that's not how we do it. So we're out session fees. We're out flights for musicians that were out of town at the time. We're out transportation fees, car rentals, van rentals, rehearsal time.
Extra time at the rehearsal space so the guy could learn the stuff.
That was $1,200 just in rehearsals for this guy's fuck up, right? You know, like, we're a signed band, but we're not fucking Metallica.
Right.
And for this guy to not even, like, it'd be one thing if he showed up at rehearsal and face-to-face said, look, man, I thought you guys were more like Metallica, straight ahead, 4 on the floor, metal. I'm sorry, I didn't listen. Like, you have 4 days, get someone else. And I would have fucking wanted to kill him, but I would have respected him. But the fact that he dicked around for 3 more fucking days and then ran away like a scared fucking, you know, insert expletive, you know, as you may, like, that's, I don't know how he could ever work again or ever fucking keep a job. He must have done this at some point before, like, to somebody, because that level of unprofessionalism, that's not a one-off thing. Like, that's just something he's done before. Maybe it's because, or, you know, you can edit this out, but, you know, maybe that's why.
Well, one thing I am going to do, and I'm going to tell you, just in the interest of journalistic integrity, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I am going to reach out to him for comment and see if he's got anything to say. Yeah. So just heads up. So I do want to hear the other side.
you're talking to someone that keeps meticulous everything. So I have all the texts. I have all the notes. Okay. I have everything.
How did Dave do? That's the big fucking question. Dave comes in at the last minute. Does Dave save the day, or what happened?
I mean, look, Dave saved the show. Let's put it that way. The fucking sound at the festival was so bad that he couldn't hear Jake, which if he knew all the songs perfectly, it still would have been hard after 3 days of rehearsal. Like 2 days, maybe. Mm-hmm. It would have been a difficult task, because you don't have the muscle memory for this stuff. It's not
right.
Like, yeah, it's not an AC/DC gig. So, I mean, dude, Dave's a fucking hero. But yeah, like, so the sound guys over there, which, by the way, they were fired and replaced the next morning. So they fucked up that day we were there and made it impossible for us to, really, really play. But whatever, you still have to go out there and get on stage and try and put on a fucking show and entertain people.
Well, you said the crowd was drunk. Maybe they didn't notice.
The crowd was fine. And I don't know about the rest of the guys, but like, I'm a social butterfly. So I went around and talked to everyone and handed out like shit to people, and it was fine.
Okay, good.
But yeah, dude, I just, like, musicians out there, like, you have to know that it's not like when you don't show up for your pizza job and now like the extra cashier or a guy spinning pizza crust like has to work a little harder, and then maybe you get fired or maybe like you get suspended. When you do this,
you fuck a lot of people.
You fuck a lot of people and your reputation forever.
Yeah.
Like, I
know what it's like. I've had bands just, book sessions well in advance and then just not show up and not phone or text or anything. Again, ghosting people. And it's like, what happened there? Oh, blah, 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 blah. It's just some bullshit fucking excuse. And it's like, you could have just told me, hey, we're not ready to record. You know what? I could make steps and whatnot. But that's the thing. When you don't show up or when you don't tell somebody, you fuck that person in music. Whether it's, playing a festival, running a studio or whatnot. If you're not going to man the fuck up and tell people you can't do it, then you're fucking useless.
Honestly, like, as soon as you take a gig, like, you're locked in because you've made that commitment, and now a whole, dozens of people in the industry are making commitments based on your commitment. Right. Like, you can't just like back out because, a better gig comes along or like you get scared, or it doesn't matter. There are no excuses. You have to follow through once you make that commitment. Like, fair enough. I honestly can't believe I have to fucking say that out loud. Like, my mind is fucking blown. Like, and I've seen a lot of shit, like, in this fucking industry. And my mind, like, and a lot of it is ruthless and like shitty, but it makes sense. This makes no fucking sense.
Fair enough. All right, Joseph. Well, thanks so much for being on the show. I'm sorry you guys had such a hard time. Kudos to Dave Velez for stepping up, manning up, nutting up, and putting on the fucking show the best you could, despite the horrible monitor mix. I heard all about that. You guys could barely hear each other, and I'm sure it was Witherfall plus improvisation after all.
Yeah, well.
Apparently, Alex had to sing a song because you got so pissed off and walked.
No, Alex sang his background vocals. I didn't get pissed off.
Okay.
Fucking didn't want to blow my voice out, so I just stopped singing.
Oh, okay. All right, that's what happened. Okay, fair enough, because you couldn't hear yourself.
Which is a good tip for you singers out there. Don't just power through shit. Fucking stop.
Okay, good to know. All right. Yeah. Well, anybody who was at that show in Tijuana who went and checked out Witherfall, hey, it's like, I'm sure you guys are going to be back at some point sooner or later to play again. Well, yeah, what's the follow-up? What's going on with you guys? What's going on next? What's next for the big W?
And we're going to have some actual official drummer auditions in late January. I think Dave is going to do that, but we want him to actually get a chance to learn his songs. We don't want that to be our impression of him. So we're like, go ahead and hear the songs, like, learn them, and we'll swing back around. But yeah, we're going to be holding like 3 days of drum auditions in Burbank in late January.
Just point of reference. Okay, I just want to bring up one very interesting point. If you do want to audition for a drummer in Witherfall, they're a touring band, so you can't have an arrest record. It just makes life that much easier. Anyway, all right. So you guys are having drummer auditions, and are you going out on the road this spring or summer or fall? What's the deal there?
Well, we have 2 festivals lined up. We have the Hyperspace Festival in Vancouver.
Oh, cool.
And then Prague Power.
Right, that's going to be in June, right? That's like the same weekend NAMM's going to be, so I will not be at that show. I will be at NAMM hanging out with many of you guys.
No, and we actually have a tour that we can't announce yet. That's going to be pretty awesome.
Let's not discuss that one. I think we're going to be joining you guys on that one for a couple days and doing a little road documentary. I think that'll be fun.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, I want to bring my camera on and show you guys what it's like to be a touring band.
I think you're probably a fan of the headliner of that, right?
We'll talk about that in a few minutes. All right. Because we're not allowed to give any details.
So fucking cryptic, Glenn.
All right. Okay. So from the band Witherfall, that is Mr. Joseph Michael. Joseph, congratulations on powering through that nightmare of a fucking show. No thanks to the drummer. I don't know if he's going to reply to the thing to my request, but if he does, we'll put a statement here.
I would love to know.
It is what it is, but congratulations on fucking rolling with the punches. Even though you got fed a giant shit sandwich, you still managed to fucking, work your way through it somewhat. And, I'm glad you did. Hey, nobody ever said this shit was easy. That's for sure. So until next time, hey, thanks so much for watching, subscribing, all that good stuff. I'll leave a link to the Witherfall channel as well, because they've got some cool music videos, and Joseph can really fucking sing. He's definitely worth checking out. All you guys are grunting into the mics. You could definitely learn a thing or two from how Joseph sings. All right, that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, stay metal, you crazy motherfuckers.